Yo, welcome to Fast Forward Mindset Motivational Podcast. I'm your host, Coach James. This is where we rewire your thoughts, reset your mindset, and fast forward your life. No more rewinding, just discipline, motivation, and the truth you need to become unstoppable. If you're ready to elevate your mindset and take control of your future, you're in the right place. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope all is well. So, y'all, tonight's a big night. My Broncos play tonight. Hopefully, we can get that W. I don't know, Cincinnati's kind of hurting right now because, one, they lost their starting quarterback. So, that may make it easier for us to win, but we'll see. One thing I have learned about the NFL is never underestimate a team. I don't care if Joe Burrow is not playing. So, y'all, Saturday, I went to my nephew's soccer game. I mean, the little kid he's good. I mean, this kid kicked 4 goals in a matter of a couple minutes at a time. It got to a point to where he kicked so many goals within so many minutes, the coach just put him in the back. And, it's kind of one of those things where you're so great, but we don't want to keep you looking great, like you're that much better than everybody else. So we'll let you score a couple goals and then put you in the back. I'm sure that if they would have kept him in the game, it would have been like 10-0 maybe. So they put him in the back at goalie almost. But anyway, so y'all, I want to talk about that because after the game, he came up to me and his heart must have been filled with a lot of confidence because he looks at me and he says, "Hey, I can beat you running." And I kind of laughed it off like, okay, little kid. He looks at me and says, "Well, you're fat, so I can beat you running." And to me, in my mind, him calling me fat, he don't see me with abs, so he thinks that in his mind he's 7. So in his mind, if you don't have abs, you fat. And he says, and I was like, well, okay, this fat guy beat you running? And then he goes, well, you're chubby. I'll beat you running. Because you're chubby. And I said, well, if this chubby guy beat you running, it's gonna be a long day for you. And he kind of chuckled it off. And soon as the game was over, he came up to me and he was committed on racing me. And so we did end up racing. We raced 2 times. The first time I gave it to him. I had to beat him. I was like, look, I'm 47, but my legs still work pretty fine and dandy. Unlike Forrest Gump, my legs are fine and dandy. So the first time I beat him, and then the second time he wanted to race again. And so the second time he beat me. But I took that in the aspect of him being 7. He realized that, yes, he did lose to me, but he also realized that if he raced me again, he might have a chance of actually winning. And again, the second time he did actually beat me. And that made me think about life, how we are as adults, because sometimes we lose one time and we just stop and we give up. If y'all didn't catch last week's episode, go check it out. It's called "The More You Think About Your Problems, the Bigger Your Problems Will Be." So go check that out. But back to today's episode. So yeah, why do we give up as adults? I feel like our mind need to be like children. We need to be fearless. We need to know that just because we lost the first time, just because things didn't go right the first time, things may go right the second time. And we need to not throw in the towel and keep going at it. I want to say Les Brown always says that feel your way to success. Jim Rohn, all those guys who speak about how to be successful in life talks a lot about you may fail the first 2 times, but the third time you may actually be successful. And there's this mantra behind that to say, feel your way to success. And so we need to be like little kids when we fail as adult and think in our mind like, no, there's a chance that I can still win. I'm going to go at it again, right? It's kind of like this whole podcast thing for myself. There was times when no one was listening. There was time when no one was reaching out to be a guest. There was even times when no one was commenting on my episodes. But I never stopped. I kept going because I was like, if I stop and I quit, what is my family going to think? What are my children going to think? I don't want them to see me give up and throw in the towel because, y'all, what happens is that you become a quitter and quitting becomes a habit. And not only does quitting become a habit for you, it becomes a habit for your children. It becomes a habit for your family because now they can say, hey, you quit. I watched you quit when things went wrong. So now I can quit. And so you have to keep fighting for your goals. You have to keep failing in order to achieve success. And if you don't want quitting to be a habit for your children, don't quit because children don't do what they're told. They do what they see. A lot of parents say, hey, I want my kids to be successful. I want my kids to go to school, get a college degree. I didn't get a degree, but you have to stop and ask yourself, did you get a degree? Did they watch you get a degree? How many times did they watch you enroll in school, go to 1 or 2 classes, and you quit because life got that horrible or that busy for you? Right? So we have to think of those things, but we must keep trying. We must keep fighting. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep trying. Because if we don't, we're never going to achieve the goals we want to achieve. Your life is going to be full of a lot of anger, a lot of resentment for yourself because you quit. You're going to always look back and think in your mind like, hey, I wanted to achieve this and I never did it and I quit. That is not a good feeling for myself or even for you when you get to that point to where you start thinking about those things, right? They say discipline weighs ounces and sorrows and heartaches and traumas, those things weigh tons on you. And so we must keep fighting in order to achieve the goal. You need to find discipline. You need to find a way to stay disciplined. We need to find a way to stay disciplined. When things get rough, you have to find discipline because you're not always going to be motivated to get up and do the things you must do. But if you find discipline, you will always do what needs to get done. My life is based on a daily structure. I wake up in the morning, do my Bible reading. I do my gratitude journal. I write a little bit in my journal. I get out of bed, take a shower. Once I get out of shower, I take my daily medications I take, start my day off just like that every single day. It's my structure. It's my discipline. I don't let nothing get in the way because I know in order for me to be successful that morning, I have to follow those same steps every day. Well, your life has to be the same way. You have to find discipline, but find structure in your discipline. Remember your why. When you want to give up and you want to quit, remember why you're doing it. It's your purpose. We don't just say we want to do things just to do them. There's at the end of the tunnel, there's a huge light that a lot of us are wanting to get to with whatever we said we're going to achieve, right? Remember your why. Remember why you're doing it. Remember what goal you set for yourself. You want to buy a house in 2 years. You want to buy a new car. You want to be able to save money to have a savings account to take your family on a nice family trip once a year. So remember why you're doing it. If you remember your why, discipline and structure, and for you to keep going and fighting, those things will be easy because you know why you're doing it. But a lot of times we forget our why. We don't care about our why. We don't even think about that. We think of comfort. If I quit, I get that 2 hours back in the day. If I quit, I save that $200 a month every quarter in my pocket. See, we think of comfort before we think of discipline and structure. So we have to be willing to be uncomfortable and be comfortable with that in order for us to achieve our goals. Next time you fail, don't give up so fast. Remember your why, keep fighting, and find your discipline. Hey, y'all, thank y'all for listening. I really appreciate y'all for taking the time out to listen to me. and my Mindset Motivational Podcast. If you have not followed the podcast, go do so. When you hit the follow button when a brand new one drops, you get an alert. I'm not hard to find, y'all. I'm on IG all day, every day. It's James Watkins at 40 and Fit Life Coach. If you're not checked out my website, go check it out. It's www.rewirethewayouthink.com. If you're struggling today with thoughts of suicide, thoughts of hurting yourself or someone else, please don't hesitate to call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 988. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. And as I always say, practice daily mindset rehabilitation. And that's my 2 cents in there, y'all. Peace. Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. And remember, don't rewind your life. Fast forward it. Until next time, keep moving forward. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. All right, y'all. Peace.